Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles now, the Birds are going into the bye week here in Week 5. They will return to the field at Lincoln Financial Field Week 6 to host the Cleveland Browns. So on today's show, I am going to pitch 5 major changes that the Eagles need to make during the bye week so that they can really gather some momentum once they get back in action. Before we begin, if you want to give me a follow on X and social media, I'd of course really appreciate that. But in addition to the long-form Eagles content that I provide all of you with here on YouTube, I put out a lot of short-form content on my social media pages, and it allows you to stay in touch with me, but to stay in touch with everything that the Eagles do in season and off season. So you can find me at Chase_Senior on X, the same handle on Instagram, approaching 14,000 followers on X, and just surpassed 33,000 followers on Instagram. So let's get it poppin', let's run it up, and let's take a look at these 5 bye week changes for Philadelphia. Move number 1, bench Avonte Maddox in the slot, and it's time for Vic Fangio and the Eagles to play second-round pick Cooper DeJean. And today, Vic Fangio held a press conference after his defense no-showed against Tampa Bay, and he hinted that DeJean is getting closer to taking over in the slot. Here's the direct quote from the Eagles defensive coordinator. Cooper DeJean is closing in on being ready, where at some point we'll put him out there. But Avonte Maddox has played fine in some areas. Obviously, he's had some plays he'd like to have back, like all of us, including me, but he's getting better. That is just a coach supporting a veteran player. Because so far this year, our eyes have not lied to us. Avonte Maddox has been bad. There's no other way to slice it up. An overall Pro Football Focus grade of 52.6, a coverage grade even worse at 52.9, and a run defense grade of 48.1. He has a passer rating allowed of 88.7, and he's giving up 11.5 yards per catch. At one point, Avonte Maddox was one of the better slot corners in the NFL. That is no longer the case. And from my view, he has gotten fried in coverage. He is tackled poorly. And DeJean is a versatile player and athlete who can be a game changer for this Philadelphia Eagles defense. And I really want to see Vic Fangio utilize him in the way that Steve Spagnuolo utilizes Trent McDuffie. They are very similar players, and McDuffie is one of the finer defensive players, not just defensive backs, in the NFL. And you look at how the Chiefs used him last year, he was in the slot for 448 snaps. He was an outside corner for 300 snaps, in the box for 158 snaps, and he played along the defensive line because he can blitz from the corner 68 snaps. DeJean, that is my pro comp for him, is Trent McDuffie, and I want to see Vic Fangio use him like Trent McDuffie to really help out this struggling Eagles defense. Bye week change number 2. It's time to get Devin White on the field. It's been cute for the Eagles to go about this manner the way that they have. He's not ready. We don't trust him in this defense. You know what the Eagles need? This Eagles defense needs some swagger, speed, physicality, and juice. And they have it on the sideline right now with the player who has been a healthy scratch the last couple of weeks in Devin White. I understand he is not an analytical player. His Pro Football Focus numbers have not been good. But the traits that he can bring this Eagles defense are traits that they badly need. And it's the aforementioned speed, physicality, a flying bullet, pass rushing ability. They can't get after the quarterback. And that game-changing athleticism. And you look side by side at the Eagles team rankings through 4 games, offensively, numbers to the left. They're 15th in points per game, 7th in yards per game, 14th in yards per play, 13th in third down conversion rate, 22nd when scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Not good enough there. Defensively, the Eagles are 23rd in points per game, 29th in yards per game, 30th in yards per play, 17th in third down conversion percentage, 9th in the red zone, which is pretty good. They are getting stops inside the red area. But I do believe that Devin White is a player who can help out this Eagles defense. At least, let's see it. The Eagles have struggled mightily against these Todd Bowles defenses. Devin White was a team captain and played well and was a second-team All-Pro for a Buccaneers defense that has done some really good things. And I know that he fell out of favor with Tampa Bay. And the Pro Football Focus numbers are not that good, but the pass rushing grades have been good. The coverage grades in moments have been pretty solid. But for me, this is more of the eye test and gut over analytics. While Devin White hasn't been an analytical player, when you watch him play, he can do some things that Fred Warner can do, impacting the game with really special speed, athleticism, and physicality. This is still a young player. He's an affordable player. Let's just see what he can do, and I hope that the Eagles utilize him after the bye week. With that, we pop up today's poll question, and it's me talking on today's show. But as always, I want you to have a voice on this program as well. What is the biggest change the Eagles must make during the bye week? I have 3 more coming up just around the corner. But first, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Game Time. Since I was young, 3-4 years old, I've loved going to games. And going to games, some of the best memories of my childhood, my entire life. And if you download the Game Time app, you could put together those great memories and compile them, but also you can save money. Because if you download the Game Time app, you create an account, and you use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, you get $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Game Time specializes in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed, so you're guaranteed to get the best seat and to get in the door at the best price. Plenty of tickets available for Eagles games this year. I also love the user interface. It's very easy to use, and it's a pretty cool technological product. You can take a look down at Lincoln Financial Field, and you can pick where you want to sit, or with this view right here, you see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Here's the thing about Game Time. It's not just an app to go to sporting events. If you want to go to a concert, a comedy show, a theater event, they have plenty of tickets available for those types of events. Best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. What time is it? Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use that code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Bye week change number 3. Make Saquon Barkley the focal point of this Eagles offense. He is one of, if not the most special players on the offensive side of the football. You obviously have to include Lane Johnson and A.J. Brown in that conversation, but I want to see this offense run through Saquon Barkley coming out of the bye week, because you are then leaning on your strengths. You're leaning on what has worked. And in turn, hopefully it can help out Jalen Hurts, get his confidence back, get him playing better through the pass game. Saquon is dynamite. And the Eagles have a top 5 run-blocking offensive line. And if you establish the run, that can open up the pass game via play action, but just in general to get Jalen Hurts back on track. Because so far this year, no other way to put it, Jalen Hurts has been porous and he's been bad. And these turnover issues are a massive problem for Philadelphia. Hurts now has 54 turnovers in 60 games. 9 straight regular season games in which he has turned the pill over. He has 27 giveaways in his last 22 games. And on Sunday against Tampa Bay, the Eagles knew that Todd Bowles was going to dial up the pressure. Hurts, once again, struggled against the blitz. And Todd Bowles was smelling blood, man. He blitzed Hurts 26 times on 37 dropbacks. Hurts was 12 of 20 for 60% completion percentage. He only threw for 100 yards. 1 touchdown, 0 picks, the 1 bad stripped sack, and the fumble there in the pocket. He had 3 turnover-worthy plays and 5 sacks. And speaking of turnover-worthy plays, according to Pro Football Focus, Jalen Hurts has the most turnover-worthy plays in the NFL. 11 through 4 games. Patrick Mahomes is behind him at 7. He hasn't particularly played well in the first month of the season. Anthony Richardson with 7, Kirk Cousins with 7, and Dak Prescott with 7. You can certainly improve on this, and Jalen Hurts can get better, but this is problematic. And in speaking of Hurts and Mahomes, the MVP and the MVP runner-up from the 2022 season, Hurts, he actually has some better numbers, or at least some of his numbers are right on par with Patrick Mahomes. But Mahomes has all those Super Bowls under his belt. 3 so far, and he's going for 3 in a row. So he has more wiggle room. The completion percentage, 68.2% for Hurts, 68.5% for Mahomes. Passing yards, Hurts has more. Going into week 4, the second most yards in the NFL behind Lamar Jackson. Both have 6 total touchdowns. Mahomes has 5 picks. Hurts has 4. Hurts also has a fumbling issue. And then the quarterback rating, very close. But Patrick Mahomes is not included in this bottom 5 list of the worst passing quarterbacks in the NFL going into week 5 per Pro Football Focus. Jalen Hurts is in the same category as Will Levis, 2 rookies in Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, and a career backup in Jacoby Brissett. He just has to be better. And circling back to Saquon Barkley, he has been awesome. He's off to one of the best starts of his NFL career, and I think that he can truly pace this Eagles offense. I've seen some people say, we don't want to run Saquon Barkley into the ground. We want to save him. It's a 2-year deal pretty much, $26 million in guaranteed money. And even if Saquon Barkley balls out and he's in the running for NFL Offensive Player of the Year at $13 million per year, that's still a bargain because his base salary and his cap hits are also very low. But with Saquon so far this year, week 1, 24 totes for a $109. 4.5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Week 2 against Atlanta, he didn't get the ball enough. Atlanta couldn't stop the run. 22 carries, 95 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, no touchdowns. Against New Orleans, 17 carries, a $147, 8.5 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. And against Tampa Bay, it was criminal how the Eagles defense played because it took the offense out of a rhythm. They were down 14-0 before they could even blink. And that took the Eagles away from their game plan, I think. And they couldn't run it with Saquon. They had to pass to play catch-up. Only 10 carries for 84 yards, 8.5 yards per carry. He's averaging 6 yards per carry so far this year, and he has been a game changer. And I think that the Eagles need to run their offense through their game changer. And can running the ball help the Eagles start faster? That's another issue with this Eagles offense. They have no points in the first quarter this year. They are the only team among 32 teams in the NFL that has not scored in the first quarter so far. Bye week change number 4. Eagles have to push the ball downfield. And this is where Jalen Hurts needs to play better, but where Kellen Moore has to design plays better, call plays better. And Nick Sirianni, if he's not already giving Kellen Moore full ownership of this offense, he needs to let that happen. Because so far this year, this offense has looked like the offense from last year. Now, running the ball can help with play action deep shots and force the defense to come up toward the line of scrimmage. And then in turn, Philadelphia can start pushing the ball downfield. That is a strength of Hurts, is the deep ball accuracy. And so far this year, chat stats, Hurts is throwing short of the sticks at the highest rate of his career. And the Eagles as a team are 22nd in ADOT. That is the average depth of target. Of course, not having A.J. Brown the last 3 games has hurt Philadelphia. Getting him back will certainly help. But the Eagles just have to play better, more sound, and smarter offensive football in really every phase. And then bye week change number 5. Vic Fangio needs to start playing more press. And he talked about this in his press conference today, but he had said, we haven't been tight enough in coverage. Vic Fangio, part of that is on you because you're not having your defense play press. So they're not playing tight coverage. Now, there are a couple of different analytical sites that you can look at. The one that we have access to, Baker Mayfield averaged 1.95 seconds to throw against the Eagles on Sunday in week 4. That is the fastest in any NFL game this season. Some other analytical sites have that at just over 2 seconds. Either way, Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, has seen through his tape study that the Eagles play back. So what did they do? And what have other teams done to negate that Eagles defensive line and pass rush? Get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback very quickly. It's an easy 5 to 10 yards. Why not? And it's time for Vic Fangio to adjust this area of his defense. Philadelphia's had no cornerback in press coverage on 88% of their snaps this year. That is the highest rate in the NFL, and it's not suitable for modern-day defense. If you enjoyed today's show, Let me know down in the comment section by giving me a real one. That was 5 bye week changes I want to see the Eagles make going into week 6. Whatever bye week changes you have, show me that you know ball, and let me know down in the comments.